Okay, we have some people popping in. I hear birds chirping in the background. So let's go live with our first session in a series called Sales Alchemy. Yes, that's right, Snaps. I'm so freaking jazzed. Already see some of our besties for the resties in the comments. Natalia, Jackie, yay. Hi, folks. I am Leslie Vanette. And I am the founder of the Sales Led Go to Market Agency, and a little bit of a sales witch in a small, informal, but delightful cohort with two of my LinkedIn friends turned real life friends, turned people that I literally travel to another country once a year to spend a long weekend with in person. And we just felt called to bring some of the conversations that we are having behind the scenes because they are so powerful, because they are so meaningful to all of you in the form of a LinkedIn Live. So Meg, Monica, hi, hey, you want to introduce yourselves?
So excited to be here. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Monica. I'm the founder of MSP Consulting. And I just have to give some props to Leslie for the idea for doing this, because I have to say, I've had the thought in the last couple of months that we are gatekeeping all of the conversations that we're having in our LinkedIn DM group and in WhatsApp. And these are some of my favorite conversations that I have every single day. You guys are currently my go-tos. If I have a question about something, if I need resources, if I need feedback, if I have something that I want to bounce off of someone, first place I go is Sales Witches. Next thing that I go is our LinkedIn group. And, I'm in a bunch of other communities, but I feel like these are actually where the good conversations are happening. So I'm glad that we're bringing it to the people.
Yeah, I'm Meg Mishak. For those who don't know me, I'm the founder of Path to President's Club. I primarily specialize in sales frameworks like Medic, as well as sales coaching for top performers. And I'm going to echo what Monica said as well, because I feel personally like being a woman in sales, being someone in sales who has really struggled to actually be authentic and bring more of myself. I feel like creating conversations like this, I remember meeting Leslie a few years ago, Monica, how long has it been? A few years ago. And 2 years. And now Monica and I both live in Mexico City, Mezcal, and it's just these are, I think, are the communities and the conversations that really create sales magic. So excited to share it.
And I am lucky enough that once a year I get to go to Mexico City and have backgrounds that are more like green and luscious and birdsong. Instead of the one right now where I'm in my childhood home, you can probably tell that it is owned by people of a certain age because there is just an enormous printer behind me.
We need to print out our itineraries to take to the
airport. Our MapQuest directions. I don't know. And MSNBC is just on volume 80 at all times downstairs. So it's really.
You joke, but I had to use a printer this week and I was like, where do I go? Who is a printer? But I need to just fly to Chicago and
they will.
I have a printer at home. I mean, I'm still an elder millennial. I keep a printer at home. And I do use it more than I think I would, but it's often for printing out things that I want to then paste into my journal.
Or I love having a little wall, and I'm ooh, pretty little prints. So yes. Ben is please consider the environment before printing this LinkedIn Live.
Oh my God, hilarious. And I also saw a question from Lauren who said, wait, how do I get into this LinkedIn group? And hilariously, Lauren, the screenshot that I sent you yesterday over LinkedIn, it was a screenshot from when I had posted that question into this LinkedIn group that Monica was talking about. And then I fed you back the screenshot. We're toying with the idea of accepting some new members. So I like it. I feel like we've created a funnel, a sales, which is funnel. Step 1, show up to Sales Alchemy. Step 2, join LinkedIn.
Step 2, tell us your form of magic. What skills do you have for the coven?
Oh my gosh. Who were we with when,
we were please, and mail it to Leslie's childhood home. When the
when we were with Steven and all of us were like, what's your favorite rock?
That was the best when we were all like pulling out like all of our crystals and stones on our desk. And actually, I'm looking at my desk right now. I've just been moving around in my office. I just got it painted. And I'm realizing, y'all, I don't have anything fun on here.
You're missing the crystals. Yeah.
Post-its. Oh, I do have, this is fun. One of my best friends, Kate Stein, made me an amazing present this year. Where she made an envelope for every month of the year. So every month I get to open like a new like little thing that she experienced that she made me for that month. And for April, the envelope just contained this dollar bill, which she wrote on the top, "You are no fool" for April Fools. And then it says, "Phone me." And then there's her phone.
Oh my gosh. I love it.
Good luck charm from Kate.
That's
the sweetest gift.
So thoughtful.
It's so weird.
Thing that anyone has ever done for me. Like the bar is so high at this level of friendship. I'm like, this is like my entire life, every relationship that I've ever been in, my parents, I'm like, this is actually the most thoughtful thing that anybody has ever done.
That's so kind. Did you decide?
Go ahead. She got me like a bar of soap one time. And it was just like I was like, where do I get more of this? It was just like, she's incredible. I feel like it's really nice to have friends that just make you feel so special.
Mm-hmm.
It's rare. I also think gift giving is like, some people are just so stinking thoughtful and like so good at giving gifts, even if it's just as simple as a bar of soap. You're like, wait, how did you know that this was exactly what was going to make me feel seen right now? Thanks so much.
Yeah, and I think that like at the end of the day, that's all. I find myself giving this advice in so many different scenarios, just like personally and professionally. I'm like, all anyone wants is to feel seen. Like if you can give that to somebody, that's 90% of your job in most scenarios in life, I believe.
So this is really, sorry to bring this to sales, but this is also why I like hate gifting strategies. I'm sorry. But I feel like it's also really annoying when you get like, oh, will you take, I'll send you a gift if you take this meeting. And I literally am just like, nah, I'm good. Yeah. And they're like, no, but like, don't you want the cookies? And I was like, I live in Mexico. Did you take the time? Do you deliver cookies to Mexico? And they're like, no. And I'm just like, I also don't want your cookies.
Your $5 Starbucks gift card.
No, I have a French press. I'm good.
Yeah. But it's going to take a bribe to take a meeting. Like the bar is much higher than a $5 Starbucks gift certificate. Please stop disrespecting my time.
Like I literally have a Breville espresso machine in both of my houses. Like I
benefited from it.
Yes.
What is like one gift that that you would literally take a meeting for?
That I would take a meeting for?
Yeah. You're just like, yoga, maybe? No matter what it is. A what?
I said goat yoga.
I would 1000% take a meeting for goat yoga.
I would do, if it was like a month membership to like a fancy Pilates studio in my neighborhood.
That's great.
That's a good one. I will say I got an incredible gift from my friends at Sales Intel, and they were homemade, like handmade huckleberry hand pies from a small woman-owned business in Montana. Wow. And so when you talk about, and it was not a bribe, it was just a thank you. But when you talk about like feeling seen,
yeah,
like that's it. They have ascended.
Sorry, but like, is this stuff on your Instagram? Like, I feel like if you literally just look for my profile at 3 minutes, you could be like, this girl probably likes candles and soap. Like, it doesn't take a lot.
And
like, I'm
nail services.
Yes, and nail services.
Yeah, get me some nails, and I'm like, good. Hey, take a break. Go get your nails done. I don't care what that meeting is. I would take that meeting.
100%. I feel like it's like experiences are a no-brainer because like, not everyone eats cookies. Like I don't really. I'm not going to do anything with that. I don't want any, I don't wear clothing with any logos on it, like let alone your logo. I can buy my own wine. Like I have really specific taste in that. But in experience, that's something that I might not know about or like might not have prioritized to do for myself. That's like meaningful to me, which I think is also very millennial of me. I think we like experiences. Matt
We
said,
do. I don't need things.
good one.
Matt said Super Bowl tickets. I was like, Matt is
Joey
bougie. Wow, he knows his worth. I'm like, yeah, Leslie. I was like, go. I was like, I'll take a candle. I'll take a really expensive candle.
I think we should take
like,
a
I'll
page
think
out of
twice.
Matt's book. We gotta level up our expectations. It's not goat yoga. It's like now an entire weekend retreat. Take me to the forest. Take me to a forest of goats.
Yeah. Forest of goats.
I want a pet goat.
and a full-time caretaker for it, so it doesn't just eat my entire home. Oh my god.
Exactly.
So speaking of like incredible experiences and things that we are excited about, tell me what you are most excited about for Q2. Like, what are the big things that you're working on, and what's drawing your passion right now?
I have news. I am going to be. I'm launching a training at the end of May that is going to be super fun. It's actually something that I've never talked about before publicly, but is like the core concept that I work on with all of my one-on-one clients. And I've been working on it for probably like 4 months now, and I'm really freaking psyched. You guys are both in BBG, so you know how I'm working on it. So I'm super excited about that. I'm now putting together like all the email sequences for it. I'm making a landing page, like doing all the things. And then I'm also going to start doing monthly live workshops on like specific concepts. And this is also only stuff, I've only ever done it for like a couple of private like VC portfolio company groups that have invited me to do trainings, and I do it with my one-on-one clients.
Like, what's an example of a topic?
Objection handling and negotiation demos.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like these like micro concepts that like I teach to people. I'm going to be doing it for free once a month, and making it available to LinkedIn fam.
Are you doing it like, how are people signing up? Is it a LinkedIn Live or a Zoom, or how are you tracking the signups?
It's going to be a Zoom. So you're going to register.
We love it simple.
Yeah. And then I'll send them the replay.
And then what are you going to do with the emails that you collect? Are you going to put them into a nurture sequence?
Mm-hmm. I most likely am. Yeah. I think the vibe is going to be like, I don't do digital products or anything. And maybe that's like something that I would like to do in the future, but I feel like the people that I work with are like, we just need your help now. Like, we don't want to hear whatever it is, but but they'll take an hour. Cause like in the workshops, I can solve problems for them and with them, like during that time. And also, you know, people always learn from seeing other people ask questions and seeing their problems get solved, which is something that my one-on-one clients don't get right now. So I'm excited to play with that format too. And then in terms of the emails, they'll get a nurture sequence. I might offer like a 45-minute one-on-one session with me afterwards for everybody that attends. If this is where you're going with this, no, I don't have a newsletter yet.
Because I know we've been talking about building up our own email list.
Summer is coming. I'm going to Italy. I'm going to Burning Man. We will have a newsletter in the fall. I just want to get these workshops out for now.
But this is the funnel. Like, now you have all of these emails that you can say, hey, I'm launching a newsletter. Would you like to opt in? So you're doing the things, you're making the forward progress.
Step by step. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that sounds sick.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm super psyched. And honestly, like, I'm just really psyched to get back into doing workshops because it's so much freaking fun for me. And, you know, back before like everything was remote world, I used to do these all the time. When I was with Scaled, we worked with a bunch of accelerators and like a bunch of funds, and I would go in and I would like, I don't know, probably like 3 times a month, I would be going into an office and doing like a live workshop for like 30 different like sales leaders, founders, whatever. And I just like thrive on that energy so much. And I feel like I haven't had it in a long time, and I'm really excited to bring it back.
Ooh.
I also like that you're doing micro topics, because
Mhm.
I feel like there's so many trainings on things like, building pipeline, closing deals. But I feel like, Leslie, you do a really good job with this as well, of like the micro conversations, because it's like, for example, you can spend all day sending emails, even with the best messaging, but if you don't know how to handle those objections, if you can lead the best discovery call in the world, this is also, sorry, this is like a rant, but I feel like so much training focuses on the first step, but the
Yeah.
micro trainings is actually what converts and what people really struggle with. So I love that you're also doing it in that workshop format where people can talk like, these are the specific objections I get, which, it's so important.
Well, just
Mhm.
think about the sessions, like the coaching sessions we were doing when we all were working for Scott at Sales Qualia, and
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
much value
Yeah.
folks got from just having like that dedicated time where they could ask questions on a specific set of the process. And then to your
Yeah.
point, Monica, like learn from hearing what questions other people were asking.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
also just get tactical.
And really selfishly, like to your point, Meg, like I learn, like
Yeah.
I want more reps. Like I want to be challenged with more problems to solve and like questions IRL. And like it helps me access more of my own knowledge and level up like my own craft as well.
Let's ask the people what micro topic they would most want if they were going to show up to this workshop. What is the micro topic? Like I will tell you my favorite like micro topic workshop that I run is active listening. And so
Mm,
people would
Yeah.
come to me and say, I want to learn how to run better discovery calls. And I say, great. That is 7 different workshops stacked together. And it starts with active listening. And I'll always get pushback because I get it. They're spending a lot of money and they're like, an hour and a half on active listening. Are you sure? But then it always ends up being the top, like when I read reviews at the end, that's the one they come back to again and again because it is that foundational thing that we might just in most trainings, or like if you're attending a webinar, it's a bullet point.
yeah.
So I love that. Yeah, I'm curious. People drop comments and tell us what micro topics you've either seen somebody else deliver that you love or that you just think would be the
Or
Monica
that
should
you're not
have.
seeing, you want
Yeah,
to
put it on
see.
our list.
Yeah. And by the way, like Leslie, you're the only person, and this is why I love you, one of the many reasons that I have ever met that does a session on active listening. And I feel like it's something that I try to sneak into like a bunch of my sessions, and I have not made my own full one on it yet, but it's so freaking genius because honestly, if you don't do that, you cannot do any of the other stuff. It's
Yeah.
not possible. Like you cannot value sell, you cannot reframe, you cannot objection handle if you don't know what you're freaking talking about. And if you haven't listened to the other person, then you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And it won't
Monica,
surprise me to hear that sorry, Meg, that it
yeah,
came
go ahead.
from trying to do like needs analysis and objection handling sessions and being like, why aren't these people getting it? And then I
Yeah.
was like, oh, it's because they're all not doing this other foundational skill. Maybe, Leslie, it's time to take a step back, start there, and then see. What were you going to add, Meg?
So I think it's funny when we have conversations, I feel like it's me and Leslie. And then Monica is just like, especially when someone asks a question, we're just like, oh my gosh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then Monica sits back and you just ask one question that like debunks the entire everything we've said. Monica, you've so much Scorpio in your chart, and I feel like you could just like not only active listening, but I think you could do an entire session on creating space, on
Mm,
like how to lean back, which
mhm.
is such a part of active listening, but it's also like, let's be less active. Let's just like relax a little bit. Leslie and I, not like I will speak for myself, as just like not always the best at that. And I learn a lot from Monica, even just in like a mezcal bar. I'm like, oh, she's brilliant. And I think that's also the best
Yeah.
people in sales are the ones that also are really good outside of life. And I constantly learn from you.
Thanks, Meg. One of the like the way that I think about this is like creating a container, which is very much like interpersonal communication language, but it is so like key in every single interaction. Like I was talking to somebody about this earlier this week, in the context of feedback for how they were working with their team. And they're like, I don't know why you have different types of interactions with this person on my team than I do, and like everybody else does. And they were even showing me some of the communications between them and this executive on their team. And I was like, that's not how my conversations with that person look at all. And they were like, yeah, I don't get it. Like, you've got something else that you're doing. And the feedback that I gave them was like, when people talk to you, you are like a sphinx. Like, you're like, it's like a completely blank slate. And in that can be active listening for the person who's listening, but for the person who's being listened to, it can make them feel really dropped, because they're like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know how, like, we are trained as humans from the time that we're born to read other people and then like make decisions based on how are things going? Are they getting mad? Is this going well? Do they want to hear more? Am I safe? And if you're not giving people any of that information, they feel like they're speaking into a void, and then the communication is going to start to get weird because you have not created a safe container for them to feel like held in the interaction.
To feel seen and heard.
To feel seen and heard, exactly. Which is at the end of the day what we all want.
Yeah. It is.
I think it goes back
I came back to that in my book was crazy, where I was like, okay, this is like a sales leader, B2B sales book. But I'd be like, and it's just so important to make our buyers feel seen and heard.
It is, though. I mean, it is. Like, if you don't do that, then that's when you have to start like coming up with these weird ass tactics that have been floating around in the sales manosphere for like the last 20 years that are like, would you be horribly opposed to this? And should I assume this is like, then when you get to the point where you're trying to like trick and coerce people into wanting the thing that you have, like, tell me how that ends up good. Like, tell me how that actually is going to end up with a good result. That is not how you win.
Yeah.
Or they're going to mirror that behavior and they're going to try to trick and manipulate you because they're like,
yeah,
cool, one of us is going to win. And then that's where you get like shady negotiation stuff. That's actually, I almost never teach negotiation. People always ask for it. And I was like, you don't need negotiation, you need discovery. And one of my favorite kind of like niche topics is how to build business cases. And if you do those two, it's like 90% of the sales process. Even then, negotiation is so much easier, because I've literally had a client who was like, hey, so the other trainers are actually significantly more expensive than you. I'm afraid that we want you, but I'm afraid that if you're so much lower in price, they're going to think that you're like not as good. So can you raise your price before I show it to anyone else? Those are the types of negotiations that happen when you actually have better communication earlier on. So like some of these things that we're training, I'm like, I don't think you even need that much negotiation training. You need the active listening, you need, collaboration, you need business cases, but it actually just goes to like the nuance in sales.
It's so important though.
Because like it's, I mean, everyone that I work with is doing like pretty major enterprise sales. And so you're going to encounter those people that like, that's their whole job. Like they have to negotiate with you. But I do tell people that like, none of this, 70 to 90% of this is like the discovery and like the business case that you've already built. But then you have to know the dance moves at the end. Like you have to understand, like it's like doing some sort of martial art. You're like, oh, you're doing this, and now my choices are to do like this, this, this. But a lot of it, most of my negotiation training draws from communication training from like FBI agents, is like a well of research that I've drawn a lot of, that I take a lot of my negotiation concepts from. And all it is figuring out different ways to either match or redirect energy. It's never about like the price or like whatever it is that they're talking about.
No, I would say of the people that have come to me and said negotiation training is one of their like top things that they want to cover in our sessions, like maybe 5% of them have actually needed negotiation training. Much more likely they need to figure out how to help the prospect switch from a win-lose mindset, or maybe they need to switch from a win-lose mindset to like a win-win mindset, so that when it comes to negotiation, it's somebody that's like, hey, I want to help you win this deal, or I really want to get this all approved. In order to do that, I'm going to need this price. Like, what can I give you to make it fair for you to give? Like, that's, I mean, I sold amazingly to Fortune 500 chief procurement officers for 4 years. So I hear you that like negotiation does have to happen, particularly at the enterprise. But the difference between selling to somebody who like wanted to win together, we were in it together, getting the deal done together, versus the couple of people where I was like, if this was my own company, I would just get this account out of my territory. Like, I would just afford this account because you are not a nice person in this negotiation process, which means I'm 100% certain you're going to be a terrible client and you're not going to renew and you're going to heck up our lot. Like, go on, get. But
go
on, CS is going to hate you.
Seriously.
But I think, honestly, I think if I could teach one thing about negotiation, yes, there's like the tactical, I like don't love negotiation frameworks like BATNA and everything, but I'm like, I think if you could just teach sellers about procurement and about their job, and literally even like one thing that I think is like people don't often understand, but it clicks, is like, if you understand that often procurement is literally like bonused on the the amount that they're able to save, just that one thing, they're like, oh, so I probably should go in like not completely negotiated down, like don't pre-negotiate with your chain, like so even creating space. But I think a lot of times people truly do not know their buyers, other than, I don't even think that a lot of teams teach people about their buyers. So even like I know we'll likely talk about ChatGPT because we have been geeking out like every other tech person in 2025. But even just like, I get my sellers to ask like, hey, can you tell me about this role? What do they struggle with? How are they compensated? How do they get promotions? Things like that. And like, it's so easy. But once you understand roles like procurement, I think it makes it a lot easier. It's not only about like the tactics, but it's about understanding.
I think we have to dangle the carrot of ChatGPT, and they have to come back next month.
This is
for
like
us to go down the chat rabbit hole and how we are using it both to help enable the sales teams and the sellers that we coach and train, but also in our own businesses. So you have to come back for that next month, folks.
Wait, can I dangle? I was literally geeking out with my friend about it today, and I was like, she's like, how are you using it? And I'm like, 3 ways: as my personal assistant, as my therapist, and as my sales strategist. Like, those are incredible. So we'll definitely talk more next one.
May sales alchemy session. 3 applications.
Writing.
This is like, I feel like ChatGPT is like my magic wand.
Yeah, writing assistant, and then I find myself screaming at it to stop using M dashes, and I'm like, go touch grass less.
Clause, dude. Sonnet.
I know. It's too late for me though. I mean, I can do it for my next project, but not for the book stuff. I'm in too deep. I can't like read. I'm in too deep.
It'd be like switching from like I feel like switching from ChatGPT to Claude for me at this, I'm a little bit earlier, so I think it's like the right time. But I feel like it's switching from like an iPhone to like a Android or something. Android, and I'm too invested.
Yeah, we're going from green chat to blue chat.
No, absolutely no way.
Yeah.
You think that Claude is green chat?
Claude is blue chat.
Yeah, no, I think Claude is blue chat.
Yeah, yes. We're all saying the same thing.
Okay. You found out yesterday. Do you guys know what Raya is?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like dating app, but it's like for celebrities, and you have to be approved, blah blah blah. Did you know that you cannot get that app unless you have an iPhone? Okay, then I have an iPhone. But apparently Justin who you guys know, does not. And he was like, yeah, I can't get Raya. Because I was like, yeah, they don't want your shitty fucking Google thing.
The celebrities are not about the green chat. No.
Oh my God, that is hilarious. Okay, before we go too far down an unrelated rabbit hole, Meg, what are you working on here in Q2 that you're most excited about? Because there's something I'm excited for you to share.
I'm like, are we sharing the new business?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you comfortable? But yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like in total launch mode. I just launched my new newsletter thanks to the coach that we all work with, which is Monica. Where is yours? Come on.
He will not meet with me. I have my first meeting with him on Monday.
Which is hilarious because he should be meeting with you.
I know it is the irony. But anyway.
Yeah, so I've launched my new newsletter. I've launched a TikTok that I am doing as my new
What's the handle?
archetype.
Drop the handle so people can go find
that
you.
at that sales witch. So I'm doing like crystal ball readings, like snarky videos about, what do the stars have in store for your corporate work day. I just launched a tarot reviews for sales deals, which are fun. And drum roll, yes, I just invested in a new business. So I'm actually, I bought this very, very expensive Aura camera and am going to start doing energy workshops for teams. Which is like so weird and witchy. And some days, honestly, launching as a more authentic version of myself feels so weird. I remember when I first met Monica on our first call, we were like, oh, Brooklyn, Burning Man, witchcraft. And then with Leslie, you like said something about Druids, and I was like, it's like the side eye of like, are you a witch? And now being more open about it is really fun. I just got this like message that's like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad to be connected with you. I also am like being witchy, and it feels really good. It feels like a big step, but yeah, I'll keep a watch out for all of that. But yeah, it's really exciting. So I am launching as a witch, the soft witch launch. And I think like everything that I'm doing, the very big ways is related to that.
So I'm so excited for you for this. And like, I'm also excited for the moment when like you look back and you're like, I can't believe that I ever even questioned making this decision. It's so obvious.
Yep.
I mean, I feel the same way about when I moved to New York, and I was so afraid. Someone literally said that city's going to chew you up and spit you out. And it was like one of the best. Yeah. Monica's like, what?
Yeah.
But Leslie, you have like some really big things.
You have some really big news.
Yeah.
Or maybe I have a book launch that is like keeping me just like holding on for dear life.
Book.
It's not luckily the launch isn't in Q2, so I have a little bit of time. The pub date is August 5, but the thing that is happening in Q2 that I am like sprinting towards is that my pre-order page will go live and my strategy like next week. And my strategy is to hit a national list. Probably USA Today, because they're the ones tracking. Like Wall Street Journal isn't really tracking right now, which is a bummer, but c'est la vie. And in order to even have a chance for the editorial team to see me, to have the opportunity to get a place on the list, I need to sell a minimum of 2,000 pre-order copies of the book, pre-order before the book actually goes for sale. So it's a huge lift. It is a huge lift.
For those who have been living under a rock, what is the book? What is the vibe? You already previewed a little bit. You're like,
I showed you the final cover design that I chose. It wasn't the Queen of England, if you're wondering.
Oh my God.
It was not in a shocking turn of events that no one could have predicted.
It was not the Queen of England. You can't really see it. I'll text it to you. But that's like the front and the back.
I'm honestly just upset. Mine didn't get chosen. I liked any of the ones with your face on it, but I guess arrows are just as good.
Well, so my face is on the back. which I wasn't going to initially put my face on the back, but everybody was like, your face. But I was team, is it because you think that this is the thing that should be on the cover of a national best-selling book, or is it just because you like my face? And people were like, well, we really like your face. And I was like, that's nice. I like yours too. This is the least helpful feedback I've ever gotten in my life.
We like your face.
I don't think about what covers should look like. I just know that if I saw that and I saw you, I would buy it, even if I didn't.
But we're minorities, so
that's the brass tacks.
Buy it without, you know. But I feel like this is really ironic that you're saying this right now, because you are always the one that is yelling at me and at both of us. So like, put a video on LinkedIn, take some selfies, guys.
But that's very different, because I am not. The book is the top of my funnel.
Okay, right.
Right. So the book needs to go out to the greatest amount of people that I can get that knowledge into the hands of, that will listen to that message about like being buyer-centric and earning trust, and like understanding that win-win outcomes are to the benefit of the entire, economy. And then from there, people will opt into following my on social media. And they'll get more of my personality and my unhinged takes. And then from there, people will opt into asking if they can work with me.
Right.
And they do not get your face immediately, I guess. And
it diminishes the accessibility of the book, because the reality is that if people see my face on the book, men specifically.
I was like, I'm about to puke. I know.
Yeah. They might not think it's for them.
Right.
And it is for them. And like, I want to get this knowledge into their hands. And I don't want some of that like very subconscious exclusion that happens to prevent them from getting the benefit and getting the knowledge of the book. So my face is on the back, just waiting to welcome people. But it's going to be amazing. So the pre-order link goes up next week. And then I'm going to be like sprinting from then until the launch date to get those 2,000 copies. So if anybody is watching this maybe on repeat when the link is up, it's going to be salesledgtm.com/book. So go to salesledgtm.com/book and pre-order your copy, please. Pre-order 2,000 copies if you want to make your life better.
Because Alia said she's going to be one of the 2,000. So you already have 3 books, pre-order sold. I'm so excited for it.
One of my like most consistent gifts is books. Like if I read a book, even if I'm not done with the book yet, and I'm like, this is a great book, I go on Amazon and I order 2 more, because I'm like, I'm going to give them away. And then as soon as I give them all away, then I get another one for myself, because I still want one. Like I'd say that like my top books, I've bought like at least 10 copies of each of them. So
100%.
I think that everyone here that's listening you're going to do the same thing with Leslie's books. So you should probably.
I'm upset that I've never gotten a book from you. That's going to be my new goal.
Book recommendations, at least. Many book recommendations.
You Unbound.
You did.
I did.
I made it.
That is hilarious. My TBR list got so much longer last night. TBR equals to be read for folks that maybe don't go down the deep book rabbit hole. My entire family is huge readers. And so 2 amazing things happened. One, they're all on Goodreads still. So I convinced them to go from Goodreads over to Storygraph, because all of them were like, oh, there's an opportunity to support a Black woman-owned business instead of Goodreads that's owned by Amazon. Take me there. And then we were all exchanging our book recommendations, fiction book recommendations. And I got so many new books that were like not on my radar at all. So we're just like sitting in hospice, just yapping about books. And then at the end of the night, we're like, that was so fun. And then like, look at my like poor grandma. And I'm like, no, that was actually still just a really nice night. Whatever. It happened.
Well,
did you know
that you're excited about?
Go ahead.
Say that again.
Tell us like one of your new finds that you're excited about.
Not from last night, but I read this book when I was in Colombia last month by Terry Pratchett. And he's like a very famous author. I just had not read his books
Yeah.
yet. And I read his first one called Going Postal. And I thought it was just a delight. It was funny. It is like fantasy-ish, but not like fantasy high world. It's not like high fantasy,
Okay.
but there's world building in it. But there is just a tremendous amount of commentary, like political societal commentary, wrapped up in this truly just like delightful story. Like I laughed out loud a few times while reading it. So
Oh.
I will like absolutely read more his books. But I have to say, I've been on I think because I've just been so like I'm at max kind of mental capacity right now
Yeah.
with trying to like do the book and do the business and the social media and spin up this like clip farming, et cetera, that I have been in my fast read era where I only want books that I can just like devour.
Yeah.
And
I have one for you. I shared it, but I literally just like went to my friend's bookcase because I had like all day at the immigration office, and she has the book The Spy by Paulo Coelho.
Oh yeah,
and
you sent me that picture yesterday.
It's very. I literally was like, we went to bed at like 1 a.m. yesterday, so we were just like drinking wine, having fun, talking, and I was like, I know I should go to bed, but I just like had I literally had like my phone like as a light thing, and I was just like, just one more chapter. It's so good,
Okay,
and it's
it's
about
on my
like
TBR list.
a fiercely independent woman who like broke all the rules and got like executed by the patriarchy, and it is beautiful.
Is anybody reading? Anybody that is joining us here on the LinkedIn Live? Is anybody reading something exceptional that we should put?
Monica, what about you? What's your what are you reading?
I'm rereading a book called The Diamond Cutter by Geshe Michael Roach. This is a book that I've thrown away at least 10 copies of. And I'm now rereading it again because I lent it to my mom when we were at the beach a couple of weeks ago because I was like, I need to work on my webinar, and she seemed bored. So I was like, read this book. And she read the whole thing. And then she was like, can I take this with me? And I was like, no, I need it. Because I've been thinking about reading it again, and I love it so much because it is it's an explanation of the Diamond Cutter Sutra in Buddhism, which is, a lot of people don't know this, is the oldest printed book in the world. It predates the Gutenberg Bible by like 1,000 years. And it is also written from the perspective of this guy who is an actual Buddhist monk, but who also built $100 million a year diamond company called Andin International with like, a group of other co-founders. And so it's this really interesting like juxtaposition of learning about the principles of karma and emptiness in Buddhism as applied to your life and business, told through the story of building an international diamond company. And it is amazing. And it is like, it's the first thing that I've ever read that really helped me to understand how karma really works, because it always bothered me when people are like, ooh, perception is reality, blah, blah, blah. Because I'm like, no, it's fucking not. Like, there are real things that happen, and that is like true, and this like really helped me to understand like what is actually meant by that phrase, and then how to apply it in your life. And it's honestly changed the way that I do everything. So I'm really excited. Promote your damn self. I love this.
Ooh, this sounds like a good one for us right now. We need this.
Good one.
Thank you, Natalia.
I just got this on Audible. I'm so excited to read it. Sounds perfect.
Promote your damn self. I'm about to just add it to cart right now.
Oh no, I just got the Diamond Cutter. I need to Amazon Promote Your Damn Self.
Read it, and then we can talk
or
about
bookshop.org counterpoint.
What's it called?
Bookshop.org. That's where I get all my books.
Do they
support local and independent bookstores? Like here, I'll open it because it'll tell you.
Does it ship to Mexico?
I would think you would have to get it before you leave the state. So far, they have raised $37,855,000 for local bookstores.
Love that.
I love that. I cannot read nonfiction like in physical, because I love reading so much, but I am like I'm not going to sit down after a long day of work and be like, let me open a business book. I like
I'm with you.
listen to nonfiction every morning, like when I'm getting ready for work. And sometimes when I'm like, cooking dinner and everything, and I'm like, but that's like I usually read about 45 books a year, but I'm like, if I try to force myself to read a physical nonfiction, I will read 0 books a year because I'll just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that later. No, can't do it.
I
So I just
listen to
got it
mine
on
too.
Audible.
Although I will say,
But
the book that we read, because I host that book club, that monthly book club
yeah,
on Patreon, and the book that we read last month wasn't available on audiobook. And
yeah.
so I had to get the physical copy of it. And I did kind of like being able to like highlight things and
Yeah.
like write little notes down, which you lose. But like to your point, the 2 months
No,
prior
no,
to
no, no,
that,
no. On Audible, you can take notes.
I would not. That's a waste of my time.
Really?
I would never. I'm not going to
Oh,
go
I think
back to
it's
them.
easy.
Yeah, same.
0% chance that I would
Y'all are
ever go back
crazy.
and look at those notes ever. I'll text myself notes for questions I want to ask during book club.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like it just does not do the same thing for my brain. Like they're like
I like
typing
it.
out a
Yeah.
note does literally nothing for my brain the way that like writing in a book does. But to your
Yeah.
point, like 2 months prior to that, we did Thinking Fast and Slow. And if I would have had to sit down and read that, I wouldn't have.
It
That's a
is
slog of a book.
this thick. I've tried to read it 3 times in physical form, and finally I was like, absolutely not. So I just listened to it, and I was like,
It
this
was
is
good.
great.
It was great even, but it's a listen, not a read if I have an
People are
opinion.
always they're like, that's just like you don't retain as much, and I'm like, let me play it to you this way. How many books have you read in the last 6 months? And they're like 0. And I was like, I retain, even if I only retain 30% of that book, I retain much more than 0 because I didn't read it.
Yeah.
Totally.
Listen to books is okay.
It's
Actually kind of like not a vibe if you say that listening to books isn't reading them, because that is very exclusionary and we don't play that game.
Exactly.
We don't play that game. So well, I still have you before we wrap up here. We're talking about like, reading books, investing in ourselves. What
Yeah.
is one? Well, first, before I ask the question, I will say, folks keep hearing us talk about like BBG or brand builders group. And so that's what we are when we talk about BBG, we're saying brand builders group, which so interestingly, I was on a live stream yesterday with Scott Leese and Ian Cognac. And I was talking about like publishing the book and how if I didn't have this brand strategy group, I would be absolutely losing my mind. And like, Ian, when are you going to write a book? Oh, like you should check out Brand Builders Group. And
He's
once
an
you said
OG
it,
member.
Monica, I remembered that you had told me he was a founding member, but not until he was like, oh yeah, like Rory and I are personal friends. Like I was a founding member. And I was like, I know this now that I'm hearing it repeated, but it was so cool to hear like his story and his journey with BBG as well, and how it helped him set up his coaching business. And like, we are all in different tracks of it, pursuing different goals with the support. So that is one big investment that we are all making in ourselves. But like, what is something else in Q2 that you are doing to invest in yourself just for you?
Like not a business thing.
It can be a business thing if you want, but like it has to be for you. Not like I'm getting a new CRM.
Yeah. I'm also working with Ken Yarmush, which has been incredible because I really needed help on kind of like the operations side of what I do. And like, it's taken him plus brand builders plus me banging my head against a wall for 2 years to finally figure out an offer structure that I love. And now I love it. And I feel so good about what it's going to mean for me and my clients and everything. And it took so much work. But I did it. But the other thing that I've invested in is like, healing my nervous system through like completely changing my entire like routine and diet. I don't know if Meg knows this. For the last 2 months, I had no processed carbs, no sugar. I drank no alcohol. I ate at the same time every day. I drank the same amount of water every day. I stopped working out, which was like a huge thing for me because I've always been a gym girly. And holy shit, like the effects that this has had on every part of my life. And I think the biggest takeaway from it is like I was forced to ruthlessly prioritize myself by sticking to this protocol that I like paid a coach to help me do. So like you guys know me, like once I commit to something, I'm not gonna like half-ass it. I'm like, I want the
Like
full,
psychotic.
we're gonna do it to a psychotic level. Yeah, totally. So I'm like, you told me what to do. I'm gonna do all the things. Like just give me instructions, I'll follow them. And like forcing myself to go into that zone of like being weird and being uncomfortable and being like, no, I can't meet you for a drink. No, I can't go to dinner with you. I've got to go home now because I have to go eat lunch at 1 p.m. exactly. Like all of this stuff really forced my brain to get back in the mode of realizing that it's okay to prioritize myself. And in fact, actually, I have to. Because like my life force is the most important thing that I have, and why would I ever make a decision that goes against that? So it's been a super, like, I thought it was just going to be like a little bit of like a health reset, but it ended up being like a life transformation experience.
Oh my God. Yes.
I like missed you though.
Started the day after I left.
Yeah.
You were telling me about it when you were there, and I was like,
That sounds
you're like,
crazy.
okay. Well, yeah.
But you had also said that it wasn't the same one, but you had done a sort of similar reset a few years prior.
Yeah.
It was like something in the evening, right? Where it was like
I do something like this, like every year or so. Like I like to go into my little hole and like just sort of like I actually ended up doing this. It was like exactly 40 days, and it was exactly during the Venus retrograde, which is 40 days long.
Ooh.
Yeah, like the timing just worked out really perfectly. And then once I realized that, I was like, of course, that's why I'm doing that at this time. But I do these sorts of things like self-guided, but this time I worked with, it's like doctor supervised. And that of course like unlocked a bunch of other interesting realizations.
I love that.
Yeah.
I also love that. I still do Lent. I'm not Catholic, but I've just always done Lent as a practice of like, I did one Lent that was a financial fast. I did one where every single day I wrote a thank you letter. So it's not maybe the most traditional application of it, but this year I gave up putting anything in my coffee and no beef and no farmed fish, including shellfish of any sort, which sort of just means no fish because a lot of times you can't, unless you go and physically get it yourself from, a place that you can trust to have that kind of supply chain integrity. And that one was more like, oh, we're kind of like fucking up our oceans like pretty aggressively with farm fish and the amount of microplastics and the amount of antibiotics that have to go into farmed fish.
And they're really unhealthy.
It's so upsetting, and it's so bad. So that felt really good to like come off the back of that. It was really hard because it also overlapped with when I was in Colombia. Jesus, Leslie. Like, I know. Luckily, I didn't like give up carbs when I was in Colombia though. So like I was fine. I survived, team. I survived. But that was like a nice thing that I have, been doing for myself. We just had Easter, obviously. So I'm on the other side of that. But I'm going to continue to do black coffee because I can tell the difference it makes to not start my day by putting sugar into.
It's also really good if you have really good. It forces you to get really good coffee, and then you're like obsessed with your coffee. So
I've been doing a little bit of cinnamon in it.
I do that too.
Oh, it's just such a treat. And then the smell of cinnamon, it kind of makes me feel like cozy, makes me feel like I'm having like a little ritual, not just like, oh, I got to go get my Joe. Like I'm making it a cute little cozy ritual. Then I bring it into my office with my brand new tech setup for my clip farming and my entire shelf of all my rocks and my potions and my tarot. I would say the other big thing that I am doing for myself is that I made the choice this quarter, I spent the money this quarter to attend a bunch of events.
Oh,
And
nice.
one thing that I will give myself a tremendous amount of credit for is that I am really good at giving myself permission to attend events, not for lead generation, just to like learn and be present. And so I spent the money not because I'm like, oh, I need to attend this event and go meet these people and go just go and be present and enjoy yourself and see what you learn and see who you talk to. So that, I mean, events and travel and all that is really expensive. So that was a big investment that I set myself up for the rest of the year, this quarter.
Oof. That's exciting.
Yeah. What about you, Meg?
Yeah, on my end, so I'm, changing my business. So even like I told y'all, it felt really scary because I mean, it was such a heavy financial investment to invest in this business. I like took some money out of my 401k like right before the stock market crashed. And I'm sorry, but that just felt like kind of divine.
Yeah,
Not that I
here.
crashed the stock market as the universe teaching me a personal lesson. But I think there were signs, So, but no, it felt really good. So that was massive. But I also am working with a social media and branding coach. So for everyone who's been like, wow, I love everything purple and your new energy, I was like, yeah, I'm working with a coach. He'll be really excited to hear that. And honestly, just coaches. Coaches are so helpful. Like I feel like every coach has like a horde of coaches on their own personal side. And including I worked with a coach earlier in the year on healing my nervous system. And so I'm also working on that, Monica, where I've realized that there's just like so much stress, so much anxiety. So what I've been doing I'm like becoming a tech bro. I'm doing like cold plunge sauna every Friday. I went this morning with my friend and I did.
Wait, can we tell them what Monica called cold plunging? Because I have told so many people that, and I am not giving you credit, to be clear. I am pretending like I
told the
knew
guy
that
this
myself.
morning.
Microdosing.
He calls it microdosing hypothermia.
Yeah. You feel great at the end because you didn't fucking die. That's your body being like, we're still here. Thank God. Like that's the key for it. Because your body thought that you were gonna die.
Honestly, though, it was like in the world today.
Too far.
My body likes it.
Too deep.
No, my body is grateful to be alive in the world that we live in. So like I literally was like giggling to myself. I was like, "Don't move, Meg," and it's like you're microdosing hypothermia. Like it was. I love that. Yeah. So I'm just becoming a tech bro, and but also like I'm really taking care of my energy. I'm like working out less. I'm really focusing on diet and exercise. I'm already like pretty healthy with diet, but even like supplements. So I'm doing cortisol manager, which is kind of expensive, but like, oh my God, I wake up and I'm like, I feel incredible. Cortisol manager, melatonin before bed.
3:30 gasping.
I forgot to bring it here. And I literally woke up at like 6 o'clock in the morning. I was like, I guess I'm just awake now. I don't know what's happening. And so I'm just like, yeah, you sleep through the night and you wake up feeling incredible. So even like supplements, I've realized like there is like the physical regulation. So supplements, contrast therapy, also like absolute meditation every day. I have this really cute Tamagotchi. I call it a Tamagotchi app. It's not really, but it's this app called Finch. And you literally just like raise a bird in a little nest and like, you buy little clothes for it because you get like points for like doing things to take care of yourself. And I'm like deeply invested in this bird's health, my own health,
your health.
But I was like, I gotta get that cute like princess hat for this bird in this app. Like I gotta get it, so I need to get some more points.
You're like, I gotta check it off the list. I gotta take care of the bird. Like this is like this is so Capricorn coded.
I mean, it feels really great to check things off the list. And the bird's depending on her.
Yeah. What's the bird going to do if I don't check in on it and pet it,
And get the
But yeah, I
props
just
back.
got it a really cute set of fairy wings. So I'm like deeply invested in this bird. And yeah, someone said like whenever you're kind of struggling, like, you know, you can like really blame yourself when you're not feeling your best. But someone said something to me that resonated so deeply. They're like, I really like treating myself like I'm like kind of like a lizard in like a terrarium. And so it's like, oh, it's not like, oh, I need to get outside and exercise because I'm being lazy. It's like it's like, oh, I think it needs a little physical stimulation, you know, like the
Enrichment.
environment's a little bit off. Yeah, it needs like enrichment activities. And so I'm like, I literally go outside, I'm like, I'm gonna do an enrichment activity for myself. Yeah, it's really nice. I'm just
Yay.
tricking myself into like not feeling incredible existential dread. And it's going pretty well. Yeah, the bird is thriving.
You can report back that it's going well.
Yeah, I'll report back. It's like the bird's dead. I forgot about it. Sorry.
You'll call FaceTime or like WhatsApp us crying and be like, what happened? My virtual bird is dead.
We'll have a funeral for it. Yeah, I'll be like, I'm back, I'm depressed. The bird has died. But no, the bird is thriving. It has
Great.
fairy wings, it's carrying a flower, and it is
We love
growing up.
this.
So
Next month when we
yeah,
come back, the bird is gonna have like its own multi-level birdhouse.
it's gonna be a castle.
Bird will have a friend. Like the bird is gonna have its own bird pet that it's now taking care of.
Exactly.
Okay, we'll come
the
back
bird
next
who-
month, folks.
Find out how my bird is doing.
Does the bird have a name? Have we named the bird?
Yeah, it's violet. It's purple, obviously.
I love that. That makes
Okay,
sense.
well,
it's so
folks,
cute.
come back next month to get the Violet update, obviously. It sounds like we've committed to giving away a bunch of
ChatGPT.
our Chat and Claude secrets. So that's a really big one. I think I will make Monica publicly acknowledge that it was really fun to not talk about GTM engineering. And
I'm a nerd.
Monica had like 5 questions to cover.
But it was really fun.
yay. Well, I had so much fun as well. Obviously, no surprise there, because I cherish both of you so much as my friends and my peers and my co-mentors. And thanks to everybody that joined us. This was amazing. And I just hope everybody has a really beautiful day.
Yes.
My bird will. Yeah.
Yay.
We definitely
Bye,
will.
y'all.
Bye, team.